Howdy everybody. We're continuing our examination of injuries that happen because of scything. Now in the previous video, which I have down in the description, the previous video we dealt with the issue of tennis elbow, which is the most common complaint, apart from cuts, and we dealt with the cuts by saying that you wear gloves. So now we're going to explore the knees, knee pain, which is the second most common complaint. For people who didn't see the last video, I'm just going to give just a 20-second review of what we learned there. Ryan Reedy, the tennis professional, taught us about using the left arm, leading with the left arm. That when you're playing tennis, when you go to hit the ball, you're going to come up like this, and then you're going to lead with the left arm, and that's going to twist your hips and make the racket hand come out. Okay, so the analogy to that with the scythe is this, because the snap has both hands connected, so we don't have to be worried about moving our hands. So we're coming here. This is the analogy to what Ryan said, where you have both hands up here by the racket. So this is the analogy to that. Both hands are here, and now we're going to lead with our left arm, and the right arm provides the precision. It lets us determine where the point of the scythe is going to go to cut. The left arm provides the balance. The left arm brings things around, brings our hips around, so that we can do this. Let's talk about the knees for a minute, because that's the other part of the body that people complain associated with scything. And that again is because of poor technique. When you're scything, again, you're going to be feet about shoulder width, and as you're going like this, you're going to pivot slightly on the toe. Maybe you can't see it. Can you see my feet here? Okay. I'm going to pivot slightly with my toe, and my left knee is also going to bend slightly. My left is going to be stationary as I'm going to the left. When I come back around, the opposite is going to happen. I'm going to shift the weight over here to the right, and I'm going to pivot slightly with my left. So my heel will go up like this. And this is really important, because if you stop and think about it, if you're just doing this twisting like this, and you're doing it with your feet planted in the ground, you could feel the strain on your knees. But if you lightly pivot, lift the heel to the right, the left, you shift your weight a little bit to the left, now to the right, that takes care of it. Now, here on our farm, we're in the tropics, and so we don't get a lot of the kind of grass you do in North America down here. And so I use the brush blade almost exclusively, because we just don't get the kind of grass that is good. You could see, look at this over here, the stand of grass. Not appropriate for this type of blade. So Jim Kovaleski is going to help us see the proper technique on using like what you might if you're using a scythe to mow your lawn or mow pasture or something like that. So you could see in here, and you'll see him, the pivot. I put arrows in the video. You'll see the pivot of the right foot, the pivot of the left foot, how the weight lightly shifts from right to left. So here's Jim scything a large plot of land in Maine. Notice his motion. It's almost effortless. Now here's the bending of the knee. You could see his knees bending as he shifts weight from right to left. Notice that he's not sweating, he's not perspiring, he's not panting, he's not out of breath. He could go on like this for hours. Now notice the pivoting of the foot and the raising of the heel. Every time he bends his knee, he pivots. So Jim is giving us what amounts to a master class in scything. It's beautiful. I could watch him all day long. The final thing, because the other reason that you can wind up with knee pain is if you're taking too big steps when you're doing the scything. And that usually is because you're trying to chop with the scythe. And when you chop with the scythe, you have to take a big step like that. Okay, but the scythe, you really are taking steps that are about 4 inches. Very slight steps. And that allows you to use the other thing of the scythe. I talked about this in another video. And by the way, I have a whole playlist of scything videos that you could check out if you want to. The link to the playlist is down in the description as well. And in one of those other videos, I talk about thinking of the tip of the scythe like the tip of a finger. And if you think about this as like the tip of your finger and you're trying to put the finger behind the material, that's a very good way of thinking about it. And you're taking these very small steps, which means that you're not overloading the scythe with too much material. You're just taking a small step, and that's going to save your knees. The pivoting, slight lifting of the back of the foot onto the ball of the foot. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.